We're gonna start the class today. Just having everyone introducing themselves to the microphone, so everyone can come up to the microphone and introduce themselves, say their name, grade, and their favorite hobby. So anyone can come up to.
Children, talk about yourselves, right? You have to introduce yourselves. Come front, one by one, and introduce yourselves. And talk about yourself. Say your name, grade, school, like that. Eh? Understood? Come. Right.
Good morning. My name is Anki Yashani Attanaka. I'm grade 6B.
I mean.
I'm in grade 6B. I live in Madre. I have one brother and no sisters. My father is Shanta Attanaka. My mother is Nirosha Inangatina. My school is Buddha Goshen Missionary School. My hobby is playing badminton. My ambition is to be a doctor one day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sanjay. I am 11 years old. I am in grade 6. I am the only child in my family. I am fair in complexion. My favorite color is red. Uh, I am kind and helpful. Uh, I like to eat red rice and red curry. My favorite pet is cat because I want to be a doctor one day. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Everyone did an excellent job. So now we have all of our introduction, which everyone has great English understanding already. Is there one thing you can tell me during your vacation, one thing you did during your break? So this can be any activity. It could be you play a sport, you ate a certain food, you went to a certain place. It could be anything. So any activity you did during your break.
Dylan, it's better if you can give them some examples.
Okay, yeah. So for me, during the break, I ran outside. I say during the break I ran outside for 2 miles. That's something I did during my vacation or break. Or I can say during my vacation, um I went to another state in the United States, and I went to California, right? So you can give me example of a place you went to.
And during his vacation, he stayed in California. He went to California like that. Hari? California is in America, no? But you have to say something about Sri Lanka. Hari? You can say during the vacation, I stayed at home. I helped my parents. Then I visited my relations. Like that. You have to use past tense. Right? පැහැදිලිද? අතීත කාලය යොදාගෙන කියන්න ඕනේ. ක්‍රියාපදයේ past tense එක යොදලා. හරි? අර බලන්න.
During the vacation, right, I went to
ඔව්.
name the place. I went to
Place.
Alcatraz. Then during the vacation, I helped my
Parents.
During the vacation, I watched many cartoons, right? Then during the vacation, I visited my grandparents. Like that, right? Just 2 sentences enough. Right?
Yes.
Can you do?
Can you? Come.
Yeah, good. Good boy.
Yes, you start.
Hello. I during the vacation went to Trincomalee.
During the vacation, I
During the vacation I went to Trincomalee. During the vacation I helped my grandparents.
Excellent. Thank you. That was a perfect example. Thank you.
Yes.
During the vacation I went to Pulnagara. During the vacation I watched many cartoons.
Right. Now, go on. Yeah.
Very nice.
During vacation I
Visited.
visited grandparents.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you.
During the vacation, I went to Colombo. During the vacation, I helped my parents. Thank you.
Someone.
During the vacation, I watched many films.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, all right, thank you. So we have a little bit of time left, and I'll try to get through as much as I can. And so we're gonna have a listening activity in this class every day, and usually we have more time for it. So I will try and get through it fast. So this is seventh grade. This is seventh grade English listening activity. So before we start, these are the 4 things you have to know before we get into it. So make sure you are actively listening the whole time to the recording. So I'm gonna play a recording of a story, and I'm gonna play the whole thing once. And then when I approach each question, I'm just gonna play a little segment of the video, and I'm gonna pause when the answer is there. So make sure you're actively listening the whole time. And while you are listening, think about the question that's being asked, which is on the screen. If you don't understand something, you can tell your teacher to ask me to play the recording again. And if you know the answer, you can raise your hand and the teacher can click on you and then you answer. The name of the story is Oranges Everywhere. So I'm gonna play the whole recording once and I want you to listen. Oranges everywhere. Bentley was wandering through the trees. The air smelled of oranges all around him. The weather was perfect, and the oranges were growing bigger by the day. He liked to walk through the groves and loved the smell of the oranges. but he didn't like that he and his family ate oranges all the time. Sometimes he wanted to avoid them for weeks at a time. He wished his family could grow other things like corn or the ingredients for his favorite dip that his mom made. His mouth watered just thinking about his favorite dip. Yes, those ingredients would be better than oranges all the time. Mom, why do we have to have oranges almost every day? Bentley asked. Well, since we grow them, there are plenty around, his mom replied. Does every kid eat as many oranges as we do? He asked. No, definitely not. There are parts of the country and parts of the world that don't have the type of weather that oranges grow in. We're actually very lucky. So some kids don't eat oranges at all. We actually send oranges all over the world so that if people can't grow their own oranges, they can still buy and eat them, said Mom. So people move foods all over the world. Are there foods that I like that don't grow here? There is an ingredient in the dip you like. Artichokes do not grow well here, so they have to be sent from somewhere where they grow well, replied Mom. I never knew, exclaimed Bentley. What else moves around like food? Plenty of things. The factories that make your favorite toys are not all in our little town here. The companies make the toys and send the toys to other places. So food and products move from where they can be grown or made easily to places where they can't be grown or made easily. People move themselves too. Maybe they are looking for a specific job that isn't around where they live, or they want to be closer to their families, or they just want a change of scenery. Wow, I never thought about that where all of our food and toys come from, or about people moving far away. It is very interesting, Bentley said. It sure is. I'm glad you asked. I'm sorry you get tired of eating oranges all the time, but I hope now it makes sense why we do. Yes, but I still might take a break from them every once in a while. Maybe I'll try to grow my own artichokes, Bentley replied. Mom laughed and said, Sure, honey. Now let's go make dinner. So that was the whole story. So it's fine if you didn't catch everything there because as we answer the questions, I'm going to stop after each answer. So for question 1, what does Bentley try to avoid? Is the question. So I'm going to play it and I'm going to stop when the answer is said and then someone can raise their hand and answer. Oranges everywhere. Bentley was wandering through the trees. The air smelled of oranges all around him. The weather was perfect, and the oranges were growing bigger by the day. He liked to walk through the groves and loved the smell of the oranges. But he didn't like that he and his family ate oranges all the time. Sometimes he wanted to avoid them for weeks at a time. He wished. So, answer the question, what does Bentley try to avoid? Is it 1, grapes, 2, blueberries, 3, oranges, or 4, strawberries?
Didn't they want to learn? Sorry, they want to heard it again.
Okay, I can play that again. So listen very carefully. It comes up fast and you might not hear it. Because also it might not say the exact wording, right, of the question, but it'll answer it while saying something else. So listen very carefully. The weather was perfect, and the oranges were growing bigger by the day. He liked to walk through the groves and loved the smell of the oranges. But he didn't like that he and his family ate oranges all the time. Sometimes he wanted to avoid them for weeks at a time. What does Bentley try to avoid?
What's your answer?
Avoid. What does Bentley try to avoid?
එයා ඒක එපා කියන්නේ මොකද? Yeah. What should be the answer? Eh? Say your answer. කියන්නකෝ බලන්න. Orange. Number 2. Yes.
It's not.
Say.
They say number 2 and some say number 3.
Okay, so no one thinks it's 1 or 4. So it's either 2 or 3. Okay. So I'm gonna play it one more time, and I want you to listen very carefully. What does it say? So it says it likes this, but Bentley's trying to avoid this. So let's listen one more time very carefully. So what does Bentley try to avoid?
More time, right? This is very
The weather
careful.
was cold, and the oranges were growing bigger by the day. He liked to walk through the groves and loved the smell of the oranges. But he didn't like that he and his family ate oranges all the time. Sometimes he wanted to avoid them for weeks at a time. What does Bentley try to avoid? So we know it's not 1 or 4. So is it blueberries, or oranges?
Yes, blueberries or oranges.
Excellent. Yes, oranges. Very nice. Yes. Thank you. So next question is, what does Bentley wish to eat?
What does Bentley wish to eat? Wish to eat.
So I'm gonna play the report. I'm gonna skip a little bit to right here. Growing bigger by the day. He liked to walk through the groves and loved the smell of the oranges. But he didn't like that he and his family ate oranges all the time. Sometimes he wanted to avoid them for weeks at a time. He wished his family could grow other things like corn or the ingredients for his favorite dip that his mom made. His mouth watered just thinking about his favorite dip. What does Bentley wish to eat? So they're all homemade here. So is it homemade dip? So homemade means he created it or his mother created it in his house. Someone created it within his house. It could be his dad, sister, brother, himself, mother. So something that they created like in the home. That so like a homemade sandwich would be a sandwich they created from like by themselves. Um, not something they bought from outside. So what does Bentley wish to eat? A homemade dip, homemade pie, homemade sandwich, or ice cream?
Yes.
Dylan, it's better if you can play it again.
Yes, okay. So
Now
listen carefully every time. He wished his family could grow other things like corn or the ingredients for his favorite dip that his mom made. So what does Bentley wish to eat? It says it right there. His favorite what? Excellent. Yes, number 1. Homemade dip. Very nice. I think we have time for a few more questions. So what food does Bentley's family grow?
Dylan, excuse me. We are not familiar about dip. What's it?
Sorry.
Sri Lankans not familiar about dip, D-I-P, dip.
Oh, okay.
What's it?
So dip is like think of something like a side. You put like say you have chips. You just put the chip inside of what we call a dip. So it's like a side or like a sauce. And you just put it in the sauce and then you eat it. So that's what some people refer to as a dip. Not all people say dip, some people just say sauce. It's really like you can say sauce or dip. So a dip is just a sauce, really. So,
Thank
okay.
you.
Yes, of course. Thank you. What food does Bentley's family grow? So this actually question has been answered already. So I'm gonna play it again.
Right. What food does
Oranges
Bentley's
everywhere. Bentley was wandering through the trees. The air smelled of oranges all around him. The weather was perfect, and the oranges were growing bigger by the day. He liked to walk through the groves and loved the smell of the oranges. But he didn't like that he and his family ate oranges all the time. Sometimes he wanted to avoid them for weeks at a time. He wished his family could grow other things like corn or the ingredients for his favorite dip. So it doesn't say it specifically, but it says it right there. What food does Bentley's family grow? Because it says that the family wants to grow. He wants his family to grow other things. But what is it saying other to? What food? Is it raspberries, corn, wheat, or oranges?
Yes, loud please.
Excellent. Yes, number 4. It's number 4. Oranges. Bentley's family grows oranges. Excellent. Okay, we have time, I think, for maybe one more question. What ingredient does Bentley like, but his family does not grow? So let's listen carefully. I will skip a little bit here. Growing
Bentley
bigger
liked-
by he liked to walk through the groves and loved the smell of the oranges. But he didn't like that he and his family ate oranges all the time. Sometimes he wanted to avoid them for weeks at a time. He wished his family could grow other things like corn or the ingredients for his favorite dip that his mom made. His mouth watered just thinking about his favorite dip. Yes, those ingredients would be better than oranges all the time. Mom, why do we have to have oranges almost every day? Bentley asked. Well, since we grow them, there are plenty around, his mom replied. Does every kid eat as many oranges as we do? He asked. No, definitely not. There are parts of the country and parts of the world that don't have the type of weather that oranges grow in. We're actually very lucky. So some kids don't eat oranges at all. We actually send oranges all over the world so that if people can't grow their own oranges, they can still buy and eat them, said Mom. So people move foods all over the world. Are there foods that I like that don't grow here? There is an ingredient in the dip you like. Artichokes do not grow well here, so they have to be sent from somewhere. So what ingredient does Bentley like but they don't grow? Is it 1, apples, 2, artichokes, 3, blackberries, or 4, broccoli?
Actually, Dylan, it's somewhat difficult because those words are not familiar for our students also, and that place somewhat long, so they couldn't catch up.
Okay, I understand. So, okay, I'll make we can try and continue this maybe our next week, or I can make a different. I'll find a different or make a different slideshow that has more simplified version of these type of words. But thank you for telling me. But I think we are at our end of our class, so fortunately we can't finish the whole slideshow. But I want to thank everyone for great participation. Thank you for your teachers who are helping putting this together very nicely. Without them, none of this could be possible. And thank you everyone for, as I said, participation, concentration, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. So thank you.